The history of African Brazilians is deeply intertwined with the legacy of slavery in Brazil. From the 16th to the 19th centuries, millions of enslaved Africans were forcibly brought to Brazil to work on sugarcane plantations, mines, and other industries. This dark chapter in Brazilian history left a lasting impact. The experience of slavery for African Brazilians was marked by unimaginable suffering, violence, and dehumanization. They were subjected to brutal working conditions, physical punishment, and separated from their families and homeland. Despite this oppression, many African Brazilians resisted their enslavement through acts of rebellion, cultural preservation, and the formation of communities. The end of slavery in Brazil in 1888 did not immediately lead to equality and freedom for African Brazilians. They continued to face discrimination, economic exploitation, and social marginalization in Brazilian society. However, many African Brazilians persisted in their struggle for civil rights, education, and socio-economic advancement. In the early 20th century, African Brazilians began to organize and mobilize for their rights and recognition as full citizens of Brazil. The emergence of Afro-Brazilian cultural and political movements paved the way for greater visibility and empowerment for African Brazilians. Throughout the 20th century, African Brazilians made significant contributions to Brazilian culture, sports, music, literature, and politics. Figures such as samba musician Cartola, writer Carolina Maria de Jesus, and activist Abdias do Nascimento became icons of Afro-Brazilian identity and resistance. The growing awareness of Afro-Brazilian heritage and history has prompted a revaluation of traditional African religions, arts, and traditions in Brazilian society. Afro-Brazilian festivals, celebrations, and cultural practices such as Kura and Kanga have gained national and international recognition. In the realm of politics, African Brazilians have played a crucial role in advocating for racial equity, social justice, and political representation. The election of Afro-Brazilian leaders such as Benedita da Silva and Jean Willis demonstrates the growing influence of African Brazilians in Brazilian politics. Despite these advancements, African Brazilians continue to face systemic racism, economic inequality, and social exclusion in Brazil. Structural barriers such as lack of access to quality education, healthcare, housing, and employment opportunities persist for many African Brazilians. The Black Lives Matter movement in Brazil has shed light on the ongoing violence and discrimination faced by African Brazilians, particularly young black men, in favelas and marginalized communities. The need for police reform, anti-racism policies, and social inclusion initiatives remains urgent in Brazil. The resilience, creativity, and resourcefulness of African Brazilians have been key to their survival and empowerment in the face of historical injustices and contemporary challenges. Many African Brazilians have excelled in various fields, including academia, entrepreneurship, sports, and the arts. The achievements of African Brazilians in music, dance, and literature have enriched Brazilian culture and contributed to the recognition of Afro-Brazilian cultural heritage on the global stage. Artists such as Gilberto Gil, Elza Soares, and Milton Nascimento have captivated audiences worldwide with their unique blend of African and Brazilian influences. The prominence of Afro-Brazilian athletes in sports such as soccer, capoeira, and martial arts has been a source of pride for African Brazilians and a testament to their physical prowess and athletic talent. Legendary footballers like Pelé, Ram Rio, and Marta have inspired generations of Brazilian youth with their skills and dedication. The preservation and promotion of Afro-Brazilian traditions, languages, and customs are essential for the continued vitality and visibility of African Brazilians in Brazilian society. Organizations and initiatives focused on Afro-Brazilian culture, history, and heritage play a crucial role in fostering pride and solidarity within the African-Brazilian community. African-Brazilian women have been at the forefront of movements for gender equality, reproductive rights, and social justice in Brazil. Activists like Elia Gonzalez, Benedita da Silva, and Ta xr8yx have challenged stereotypes and pushed for greater representation and empowerment of Afro-Brazilian women in Brazilian society. The intersectionality of race, gender, and class has shaped the experiences and identities of African-Brazilian individuals, families, and communities. Intersectional approaches to social justice, anti-racism, and feminist activism are essential for addressing the intersecting forms of oppression faced by African Brazilians. The legacies of slavery and colonialism continue to cast a shadow over the lives of African Brazilians, shaping their perspectives, aspirations, and struggles for justice and equality. Healing intergenerational trauma, promoting cultural pride, and fostering solidarity within the African Brazilian community are crucial for overcoming historical barriers and fostering a more inclusive and equitable society. African descendants in Brazil have been instrumental in preserving and promoting traditional African arts and crafts, such as beadwork, weaving, pottery, and basketry. These artistic traditions not only celebrate Afro-Brazilian cultural heritage, but also provide economic opportunities and cultural exchange within and beyond Brazil. The representation of African Brazilians in media, literature, film, and visual arts has been a subject of ongoing debate and advocacy for greater diversity, authenticity, and visibility. Afro-Brazilian filmmakers such as Abdias do Nascimento and Zimo Bulbul have challenged stereotypes and highlighted the richness and complexity of African Brazilian experiences. The Afro-Brazilian diaspora encompasses a diverse range of experiences, histories, and identities within the broader context of African diaspora communities worldwide. Connections with African diaspora populations in the Caribbean, the United States, Africa, and Europe have enriched Afro-Brazilian culture and heritage through shared memories, traditions, and struggles. The Afro-Brazilian religious landscape is characterized by a rich tapestry of beliefs, practices, and rituals that reflect the syncretic mixture of African, indigenous, and European spiritual traditions. Candomblé, Umbanda, and other Afro-Brazilian religions provide a sense of community, healing, and connection to ancestral roots for many African Brazilians. Ethnic and racial diversity within the African Brazilian community encompasses a spectrum of skin tones, hair textures, facial features, and cultural traditions that defy monolithic stereotypes of Black identity. Embracing Afro-Brazilian diversity and complexity is crucial for challenging anti-Black racism and promoting solidarity among people of African descent in Brazil. The Afro-Brazilian culinary heritage is a testament to the creative fusion of African, indigenous, and European culinary traditions that have shaped Brazilian cuisine. Dishes such as feijoada, acarajé, moqueca, and vatap celebrate the flavors, textures, and aromas of Afro-Brazilian gastronomy and reflect the resilience and creativity of African-Brazilian cooks and food artisans. The economic contributions of African Brazilians to various sectors of Brazilian society, including agriculture, manufacturing, commerce, and service industries, have been integral to Brazil's development and prosperity. Entrepreneurs, workers, and professionals of African descent have played a vital role in building Brazil's economy and contributing to its global competitiveness. The social and political activism of African Brazilians has been instrumental in advancing civil rights, democracy, and social justice. If you found some important information from this topic, kindly subscribe to this channel for more information such as this.